just in time for a massacre.
You know, some things are good to share. Toys, food, fun. But your body belongs to you. Some kinds of touch are good, and they make you feel happy. But there are other kinds of touching that can scare you, even make you feel ashamed. That kind of touching is called sexual abuse. If somebody is touching your body in a bad way, it's not your fault.
I feel like I've hit rock bottom and another trap door opens and I plunge further into despair.
God only gives us as much suffering as we can endure.
I mean, piles on the shit to see if we'll break? Why?
Test our faith. And to make us appreciate the good that we do have.
Now, forgive me for saying so. God is a sick fuck.
I'm fine. Can I go now?
The first instance of grooming and molestation began with Abe directing me to give my cousin Bill oral sex in my own bedroom. This was in Dallas, Oregon during the spring break of 2002. Abe and Bill came to visit my family. Abe told us he was 17 at the time. Abe treated me like a best friend, and Bill was my favorite cousin. They wanted to teach me things, show me places, give me gifts. Their visit lasted the duration of spring break. They left. I went back to school pretty fucked up. Everything went wrong from there. Before the end of 2002, we had to move back to Astoria, Oregon. This is where all of my extended family lived, including Abe and Bill. Of course, Abe was excited to know we moved back. This is when the grooming became very heavy. There was some time where Abe and Bill bounced around. They lived with Frank, Abe's brother. They lived with us for a long time after Frank kicked them out for having sex in his living room. They lived with Frank again after my mom kicked them out for fighting and being violent. They had immediate access to me. I was followed into the bathroom, into my room, the kitchen, the room my mother gave them. Abe even got me at the local park once, which was known as Peter Pan Park. This was the worst period of my life. I believe that I was an easy target for Abe and Bill to groom because my father had died 2 years prior. dad conditioned me enough to endure abuse but continued to look for love from the abuser. I was really blind to mistreatment and thought of it as normal. My dad was my favorite person, even though he'd hit my mom and I. In May 2000, my dad finally lost it and killed his new wife, who was my stepmom, who he met after my mom took us and fled from his violent and psychotic behavior. He killed himself shortly after killing my stepmom. He surrounded himself with photo albums of my siblings and I. Even though he had committed this atrocious crime, I still looked up to him heavily. I was also incredibly upset and angry at him too. It's still difficult for me to grasp. In hindsight, I can clearly see how I fell into the trap set to manipulate and use me. I was vulnerable, impressionable, sad, angry. I was a lost boy. I was also preyed upon. I was a child. The grooming I experienced had me under Abe's influence and control to the point of me traveling to him. Whether it was going downstairs at a certain time to their bedroom or traveling to his brother's house about 5 blocks from my home, he would call me or he would tell me to come back on certain days. I did this because early on into the grooming and abuse, Abe made me fear for the safety of my family if anyone ever found out. I had seen him fist fight with Bill, pounding on Bill's head while he cowered and covered himself up. He was bigger and stronger than me, angrier too. I feared for my mom's life and the lives of my 2 brothers and sister. I recognized at an early age that people do not want to go to prison. They would avoid it using extreme methods. My dad killed himself to avoid going to prison for life for killing his wife. I also knew he could go to jail for what was happening, but deep in my gut I felt, due to the grooming, that I wouldn't be believed by the cops. I wouldn't be believed by my family. I would be disowned by my family for what my cousin was doing to me, subjecting me to incest. Everyone at school would find out that both Bill and Abe would kill all of us to keep their secret. I had nightmares for years after the abuse about Abe and Bill ganging up on my mom, killing her, and then going after my siblings and I. Till my family moved away from Oregon to Missouri in 2006, I slept with a knife under my pillow just in case they decided to hurt us. This led to about a decade of recurring insomnia and paranoia. What I went through is difficult to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. It's a mix of fear, self-preservation, the safety of my family, exposure to sex, exposure to grooming behaviors, need for attention, love, validation. It's hard to explain feeling terrified and safe at the same time, all of the time, for years. Eventually, the abuse stopped when I fled to Texas in 2005. I couldn't tell my mom what was going on with me. I didn't have the words or tools to do so. I was already very disruptive, loud, angry, combative, violent. Due to hiding and enduring the abuse, I wasn't getting along with anyone at home, so my grandma let me come live with her for a while. Before leaving to Texas, there was another fist fight between Bill and Abe in which I was accidentally punched. I decided to stop Abe's assault on Bill and put him into a chokehold, dragging him to the ground. At this time, I finally knew I was strong enough to possibly defend myself from Abe if needed. You remember that, Abe? When I got to Texas, life flipped for me. I was very alone. My grandparents didn't like or understand me much. In school, I was targeted for my hair and clothing. This led to a lot of fighting and sucker punches. Overall, it proved to be good for me because I gained the instincts to swing into a fight if put into a corner. Gave me some confidence against Abe and Bill, at least. I returned from Texas in June of 2005. I came back to Abe and Bill sleeping on my mom's floor again. I was terrified, to be honest. I wondered how long until they got me again. I wondered if they hurt anyone else. Abe did try to lure me that night, but I just kept my door shut. The next night, he caught me, and he tried again. I told him to never touch me again. Soon after, I believe within the next 2 days, they were boarding a Greyhound to Tulsa where Abe's mom lived. That was the last time I saw them. About a year and a half later at midnight, I received a call from a random number. Hello? On the other end was Abe. Hey, it's me, remember? How are you? I missed you. I hung up. I knew in that moment he must have heard we were in Missouri from my aunt Wilma Ingram, who's also a predator creep. This is how Wilma would normally act around me and other kids. This is the behavior I was exposed to. To tell the full story, actually, I was first groomed by Wilma. It all started with Wilma. She sexualized everything, made sex a joke. She would play with her boobs or grind her hips. Didn't care that I was a child. Just to give an example, hey Wilma, do you remember that game we used to play? You'd sit on the couch and egg me on to pull my pants down. And once I did, I would play with my penis in front of you, wiggling it, shaking it. You would laugh and clap. Do you remember that? 'Cause I do. She gave him my number. I also knew he would follow me due to how close Oklahoma and Missouri are, and molest me again if given the chance. That night caused me to not sleep for 2 days. After this, I would keep their secret until I was 22. At 33, it is still an incredible challenge for me to address. I tried to drink it away for a decade, but nothing made it go away. I'm ready now to say what they did and what I experienced. I deserve a life free of this guilt, this shame, this burden I've carried. In the past, I'd lie awake at night wondering, did they hurt others? Did they know I'm alive? Could they find me? Should I kill myself before they get to me again? I can't be scared anymore. I can't keep quiet anymore.
All of your secrets are out now, you pedophile fuckers.
Show starts in 1 minute.
Tommy, he's so stoned.
This is totally happening.
Look what's happened to him.
You know I look like...
Such a mess. What a loser.
Yeah.
This weed is definitely...
Gross. Ever since he started smoking pot, he's gross.
Like everyone's doing it.
It's so uncool.
They're really into me. They think I'm so...
Out of it.
Here's a new taste treat. The corn dog. Corn dogs.
I'm not afraid of dying. I love the Lord, and matter of fact, I want to die now.
You're an inhumane bunch of fucking living bastards and bitches, and you're gonna get your asses nuked in the end. And pretty soon it's coming.
And then killed himself on the Markham Bridge yesterday afternoon.
If we refuse to acknowledge the natural beauty that surrounds us, how can we see it within ourselves?
Should have seen when I first came in how much they've changed me in about a year and a half.
Out of retaliation for taking my life, you sabotaged my ass. Thanks a lot. I lost my fucking life because of it.
God is going to be there. Jesus Christ is going to be there. All the angels and everything. And, you know, whatever's on the beyond, whatever's the beyond, I know it's going to be good. I think their whole plan was to try to make it look like I was totally crazy, and so nobody would believe anything I had to say about anything, and then drive me there if they could. I suffered so bad. I was really struggling to survive.
What's your name?
So I told him he could have a half hour to pray to God, and if God could come down and change the circumstances, he'd have that time. But God never showed up.